I'm gonna need you to pay attention because this is complicated, but worth it, I promise.
Let's talk about a moment no one saw coming. Rumors are spreading like wildfire that America's sweetheart, Blake Lively, faced off with the most irritating gossip guru alive, Perez Hilton.
I told you a few days ago that Justin Baldoni is suing his former publicist, Stephanie Jones. He is alleging defamation amongst other claims, and Stephanie actually sued him first for breach of contract and other claims.
On the brand new HBO Max documentary, Lively V Baldoni, people are already calling it the showdown of the century, and apparently, it left Blake's usual grace in shambles.
She was upset that he left her PR agency to go with his now publicist, Jen Abel, who used to work at Jones Works under Stephanie Jones.
They say she had a full-blown meltdown. That's right, this is where the polished facade allegedly cracks, and watchers are pointing fingers at the ever-controversial Hilton.
Jen Abel, his current publicist, is named in the lawsuit against Baldoni by his former co-star and plantation princess, Blake Lively.
If you've been scrolling social media, you've probably seen the chatter. Lively, known for her upbeat interviews and radiant energy, apparently lost her cool when Hilton started poking at personal topics. And by poking, I mean the man came prepared to dig up every rumor Blake thought she'd buried for good.
Also included in the lawsuit that she brought against him is his production company, his producing partner, the billionaire co-founder who's paying all the legal bills, his crisis PR expert, and the digital guru whom we don't know really what he does.
It's like he woke up one morning and decided, today's the day I make headlines by pushing Blake Lively to her limit. But that wasn't the whole story. People close to the production claim the meltdown rumors are far more sinister than just a few harsh words.
He then sued her husband, and her publicist, Leslie Sloan. Stephanie Jones has quite a reputation, was not having it, tried to get her to stay unsuccessfully, and then, before she was due to leave, she fired her and took her laptop and took her cell phone.
Blake reportedly stormed off set, threw around some furious remarks, and even let slip a few uncharacteristic jabs that left production staff flabbergasted. Sure, everyone has a breaking point, but seeing her reach it so publicly feels jarring.
Then, Baldoni's complaint alleges that Stephanie Jones, on the very same day she fired Jen Abel, gave her publicist, Leslie Sloan, all of Jen Abel's text messages.
For years, fans have idolized Blake as the perfect role model, the Hollywood darling who never misses a beat. She's a style icon, a social media queen, and a woman who always seems to have her personal life under control. Her brand is sweetness and positivity, which means any sign of unraveling would hit like a thunderbolt. Of course, that's what makes these rumored meltdown stories so juicy.
Jen Abel filed a new motion that has shaken things up. Filed paperwork detailing her answer to the hair care professional's first amended complaint, as well as a third-party complaint against Stephanie Jones and Jones Works.
The second something cracks, the tabloids swarm in for the kill. And in this case, it's not just tabloids, it's Perez Hilton himself, with a front row seat and a microphone. And what happened next would shock everyone. Let's talk about Perez Hilton for a moment. In the world of celebrity gossip, he's the figure people love to hate. He built a name on sensational revelations, scandalous headlines, and that smug aura of, I know a secret you don't.
This is a big deal, though. Jen Abel's response to the Woody Allen apologist complaint was fairly typical stuff. I acknowledge this, I deny this, I verify I am this, there's insufficient blah blah blah, that kind of stuff.
For years, he's thrived on cracking even the most guarded celebrity facades, turning private mishaps into public fiascos. According to rumors swirling around Lively V Baldoni, Hilton walked onto set armed with some sort of secret ammunition. Maybe it was leaked messages, maybe it was a suspicious audio clip, no one's quite sure. Regardless, the mere mention of this alleged evidence seems to have set Blake off.
In the filing, Jennifer's lawyers argue that Stephanie, as Jennifer's boss, pulled Jennifer into this mess and should therefore be responsible for any bills related to the case.
Outsiders say she demanded to see these so-called receipts, but Hilton stood his ground, teased them, and let his trademark grin do the talking. It's the kind of cunning approach he's become infamous for.
And that means that neither side would need to get a subpoena to get documents from Stephanie Jones. And this is a huge win for Baldoni, I think. It could be an amazing way for him to get information, especially because these text messages are a key player in all the legal drama.
Some folks claim he planned the entire confrontation, another manipulative ploy to stay relevant. His entire shtick is antagonizing big stars until they either storm off or break.
Blake Lively's just going to deny, avoid, ignore. She's going to act like all the things that Justin pointed out that are very valid are just, abuser playbook tactics. Blake Lively has responded to Justin Baldoni's 179-page, $400 million lawsuit, and her response has only made me want to support Justin even louder. Him defending himself just proves he's the abuser. She doesn't address any of the actual valid things that Justin points out in his lawsuit and instead just goes on the attack.
Down, all to secure primetime coverage for himself. If that's the case, it worked like a charm this time around, but it didn't stop there. Behind-the-scenes staffers are whispering that the real chaos started long before any official camera rolled. They describe a kind of tense buildup, hushed arguments, frantic texting, and doors slamming shut whenever someone outside the immediate circle got too close. Several crew members even swear they heard Blake Lively raising her voice at an unnamed individual on the phone moments before she was scheduled to film.
Your pay grade, that's called fraud. When you pretend you want to do the one thing and you'll do the thing they're hiring you for, right? This Justin Baldoni, most people had never even heard of him. And then she claimed that he unleashed a bad PR campaign against her. By the time they premiered the movie, they weren't even speaking to each other. She made him stay in the basement and decided to try to hurt him with petty, made up, out of context complaints when he pushed back even in the mildest way. So she's a serial fraudster. That's called.
The topic of that heated call remains unclear, but the raw emotion apparently spilled right over into her next on-camera exchange. Within that frenzy, rumors emerged of leaked voice notes, juicy bits of audio in which Lively is allegedly heard, venting about feeling targeted and overexposed. The idea of being everyone's punching bag came up more than once, suggesting she's reached a personal breaking point. One unverified snippet floating around gossip boards allegedly features Lively saying, "I've had it with these manipulative stunts," though no one can confirm the voice's authenticity. The mere possibility of such recordings set the production corridors ablaze with paranoia. Assistants were scrambling to figure out if they too were being taped whenever they consoled the visibly upset actress. Meanwhile, Perez Hilton was working the room in his signature fashion, dropping tantalizing hints, but never quite revealing his supposed killer evidence. Some claim he was overheard muttering about how America only sees the highlight reel, implying that whatever he had on Lively would tear down her pristine public facade. A few staffers recall him smiling smugly whenever Lively was mentioned, as if he knew a secret that could blow up at any moment. It's the kind of smugness that makes you wonder if he was bluffing or if he truly held a trump card. Critics and industry insiders began speculating about whether footage of the alleged meltdown would be included in the final version of Lively V Baldoni. Early teasers for the documentary made no mention of it, focusing instead on the main storyline. Yet, viewers couldn't ignore the buzz. Was it a deliberate marketing ploy, or a genuine crisis the producers wanted to tuck away? Some are convinced the meltdown would be edited into a dramatic highlight, while others say the most incriminating moments would be buried to protect Lively's image and avoid massive backlash from her fanbase. Either way, the tension had people glued to their feeds, waiting to see if the meltdown was real and if it would make the final cut. But for all the endless rumors, the fans themselves were the next real battleground. The public reaction has been an absolute firestorm, splitting fans and casual observers down the middle. On one side, Team Blake argues that Lively's meltdown, if it happened at all, was a direct result of Perez Hilton's calculated provocation. They see her as a victim cornered by a man who's practically made a career out of delighting in celebrity scandals. Devoted followers of Lively took to social media with hashtags like "leave Blake alone," flooding timelines with old interview clips showcasing her warmth and composure. They claim Hilton's strategy is transparent: push a star until they break, then twist their breakdown into content. Conversely, Team Perez or the skeptics insist that nobody forces you to snap like that unless you're already harboring deep frustrations. They point out how, during the early days of filming, Blake seemed evasive whenever certain topics came up, almost as though she was bracing for a confrontation. Body language enthusiasts dissect footage, claiming they see micro-expressions of panic or irritation whenever Hilton's name is mentioned. They assert that Lively's meticulously polished image is just that, an image, and that behind closed doors she might be far more temperamental and controlling than she lets on. This fracture in public opinion escalated into full-blown social media warfare. Some fans are calling for a boycott of anything Perez Hilton touches, branding him a serial agitator who profits off emotional distress. Others say it's about time someone held Blake accountable for the facade she's sold the public for years. Wild. Conspiracy theories even popped up, suggesting the meltdown was staged for the sake of publicity. The documentary would get attention, Lively would momentarily look vulnerable, and Hilton would reignite his fading celebrity status. If that seems outlandish, it's still no crazier than some other plots Hollywood has cooked up in the past. Meanwhile, Lively V Baldoni is racking up views, intentionally or not, because everyone wants to see if these whispered tensions made it onto the screen. From the outside, it looks like a marketing team's dream scenario, a perfect storm of scandal, speculation, and fandom rivalries, driving eyes to the platform. For Blake's most loyal supporters, though, this entire debacle feels like a betrayal. They're wondering how much of the sweet, stylish actress they adore is real, and how much of it is carefully choreographed PR. As the debate rages on, one thing's obvious. The documentary has turned into a symbolic battleground for whether stars can maintain a spotless reputation in today's hyper-scrutinized environment. And the next chapter in this meltdown saga? Well, it's lurking just around the corner. As more details trickle out, you hear murmurings of unexpected alliances. A few random celebrities, acquaintances of Lively or longtime rivals of Perez, have chimed in. Rumor says at least one big-name star texted Lively with supportive words. Another posted a cryptic message about how some people can't be trusted, fueling more speculation that it was aimed at Perez. There's also talk about how Blake handled production once cameras weren't rolling. Some unconfirmed accounts claim she cornered a producer, demanding they cut certain segments. Allegedly, she was furious that the meltdown could overshadow the actual point of Lively V Baldoni. Others say she threatened to walk off if she discovered any ambush footage included in the final cut. Meanwhile, Perez is still out here, living for the attention. If there's anything he loves, it's a spotlight. He's been dropping vague but pointed teasers in interviews, insinuating that audiences haven't seen half the story. You gotta admire, or despise, his ability to turn any situation into a platform for self-promotion. And then came the biggest bombshell. Word on the street says someone pitched the meltdown as a post-credits stinger to keep viewers talking. Why? Because drama sells. If you thought streaming platforms played fair, guess again. The documentary's creative team might be deciding whether to leverage that meltdown hype to boost numbers. Maybe they're torn between preserving Lively's image and delivering the sensational goods people crave. Fans are devouring every rumor. Some think this entire fiasco signals a bigger crisis for Blake Lively. Could this documentary be the turning point where her squeaky clean persona finally shows its flaws? Or is it a minor stumble that'll blow over once the streaming service moves on to the next big thing? And of course, all eyes remain on Hilton. Is he just the cunning puppet master, orchestrating chaos so he can thrive off the fallout? Or did he genuinely stumble upon something scandalous? No one can say for certain, but either way, the meltdown talk is alive and well. Still, there's a final thought we all need to confront. At the end of the day, this entire situation leaves a lingering question. Is Blake Lively truly the perfect star she's always appeared to be? Or does her reputation mask some raw nerves ready to snap at the smallest provocation? And is Perez Hilton nothing but a proud manipulator, exploiting every high-profile confrontation for his own gain? Or did he do the public a favor by revealing a side of Blake nobody knew existed? The alleged meltdown on Lively V Baldoni has turned into a stand-in for all the swirling tensions in Hollywood. Icons, gossip power players, career ambitions, and concealed truths collide in a heated moment that might rock a beloved celebrity's carefully cultivated legacy. If the rumors are accurate, we're witnessing the first real cracks in Blake Lively's golden exterior, and the puppet strings that Perez Hilton continually yanks to cause chaos. Whatever the truth, one thing's certain. The documentary has become the talk of the town. Fans are picking sides, social media is ablaze, and everyone's wondering what exactly happened when those cameras rolled. Maybe that meltdown will blow over in a week, or maybe it'll become an emblem of the dark underbelly of celebrity culture, reminding us that even shining stars have their limits, and that cunning manipulators always find a way to bring those limits crashing down. Either way, the clash between Lively and Hilton is out there for the world to dissect, fueling speculation. That's as fierce as it is entertaining. Because when Hollywood's beloved sweetheart squares off with a proven puppet master, no rumor is too far-fetched and no meltdown is too dramatic. In the end, the real question might be, who's truly in control? The star trying to preserve her reputation, or the sly troublemaker determined to see it crumble? Only time, and maybe a few leaked recordings will tell.